Okay, good morning, everybody. Looking agenda review for Wednesday, December 17th. Commissioner Bluebaugh is on Zoom. So, Commissioner, if you got anything you want to add or say, just take yourself off mute and get our attention. And other than that, last meeting of the year, right? Is that right, Tom?
Last meeting of 2025.
Take it away.
And Nicole, what good news can we end the year with?
We are going to end the year with a short video on 2025 data and accomplishments from all of our departments. So looking forward to sharing that. Real Christmas tree recycling will start on December 22nd. So we'll give a quick update on that. And then county closures will be Christmas Day, 12/25, and then New Year's Day on 1/1. And that's all I have.
Okay, on regular business, we have a couple of appointment items. Item B is a resignation of Hugh Nix from MAPC. And item C is a reappointment of a person to the Solid Waste Management Committee. I think that's at large. Yeah. So those two appointment items. On new business, item D, we might want to talk just a little bit about, and with Lynn here, there's been a lot of moving pieces to this. We thought we were pretty close to an agreement language a week ago when I deferred it, thinking it would be back on this week, but more has transpired. So, Chairman, I don't know how you want to handle this. If you want to wait till Wednesday, or you want to talk about it now a little bit.
Might just give an update if you want, and we can. I do think we owe the public an explanation of what might have changed and why.
Yeah. So we've been working with the project manager up in Topeka here the last week or so for what was going to be an extension of our previous 5-year agreement. Just to give us through the gap, we all know there's a major investment study that's going on with the Northwest Expressway to reconfirm and update expectations, feasibility of the project. Unfortunately, there's been some misinformation out recently. There is a concern just to make sure we and all our partners are on the same page. And the secretary at this time would prefer just to take a break, let the MIS study finish through summer, and then re-engage based on the study findings for next steps forward, just giving everyone a time to make sure basically we're all on the same page and we're moving in the same direction.
Okay. The misinformation did not come from Sedgwick County, correct?
That is correct. It did not. It was a third party. I think it was, I don't think there was any malintent whatsoever. It was just a unfortunate misinformation that wasn't vetted.
Okay. We'll keep this on the agenda, and that way we can at least explain to the public.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to handle it.
Yeah, and I think we all supported the amendment language that we were trying to accomplish, and it made a lot of sense in our end. I think all the commission supported it, staff supported it, and so understand the secretary wants to pump the brakes, make sure we get the MIS, and that's his position, and so be it.
Okay, that was item D. Item E is an authorization to transfer some budget authority to cover some of the tax foreclosure sale proceeds. We've talked a lot about this week. Media has ran some stories. This is a bad company story that we're going to have to come in and make some amendments for. The treasurer and our deputy are here today if there's questions on for agenda review. If not, we'll handle this in new business on Wednesday.
Any questions? Lindsay, you're presenting?
Yes, because it's a request to move budget authority and then authorization for finance to pay that expense. And then the treasurer will handle it as I think they typically do to actually get the funds dispersed. Right, Randy?
Yeah. Okay, very good.
Can we get a breakdown, if possible, to find out some details about how many parcels are we talking about?
81 properties.
Right, and then do
were
we
actually
know
sold.
how much of that 1.2, I'm sorry, 1.2 is going to delinquent taxes, and how much is going to other lien holders, creditors, and things like that?
But that information is available. We'll get it circulated.
Thank you.
I'm looking at Brandy and looking at her to nod her head at me.
We can get that information, right? Yeah. If you wanted to share now, you're welcome to share now on that. Okay, just let us know.
I am not going to be here.
Right. Yeah, you're for good reason.
If you can email it around, I'll be happy to speak to it from the podium on Wednesday.
Easy.
Okay, Okay, I'm going to pass the microphone to Tim on item F. This is a consideration of service agreement regarding some meals for older Americans. This has also been talked about a lot the last couple of months. There have been some funding cuts and some other things happening at a federal level that is creating some challenge here. And I want Tim to just talk about that a bit here.
Morning, Commissioners. Challenge and an opportunity. We've notified Commission and the community, the program recipients, that Everfull, who's been one of 5 contractors providing in-home and congregate meals for us for a number of years now, has decided to cease operations. And so with that, we have identified another partner to provide meals in 12 different sites. We've asked Senior Services, who's been a partner for congregate meals in the past, to change their business model a little bit. They're going to serve Meals on Wheels and congregate meals within the city limits of Wichita, plus the Oaklawn site. And then Trio is going to pick up 12 different sites in the 3-county CPAAA service area. And so they'll be providing congregate meals and Meals on Wheels across the 3 sites. Trio is a national company. They serve over 125 million meals a year in various communities across the country. So they're well established. They're ready. They will be ready to go January 1st. So everybody's going to get a meal in January. So staff, including legal staff, have been working furiously over the last couple of weeks to make sure that we get everything in place. This contract will cover those 12 different sites and then the in-home meals as well. So,
Hey, Tim, I know Stephen's going to present on this because this is Tim's last day here at Sedgwick County. He's retiring. He's taking everything with him, but congratulations. But 1 out of 5 companies that we contract with for CPAAA. How big? Remind me, please. How big is CPAAA?
It's a 3-county area: Sedgwick, Harvey, and Butler.
Right.
And in Butler, we contract with a meal provider to do some of the meals there. Harvey, they're doing some of the meals, and then Senior Services Inc. does meals in the Wichita area as well.
And these are, we designate based on a geographic coverage area. Is that typically how that works? Or do some do Meals on Wheels and some do congregate in the same area, or how?
It's really more about what the customer needs. And so some folks need to be served those meals in their home, and some folks are able to go to congregate. We like folks to go to congregate meal sites because it's an opportunity to engage with others and pick up other services while they're in those locations as well. But Trio is going to serve the full area. Some of the outlying areas maybe only want to serve in their community. They don't have the reach to be able to produce the number of meals that they would need to. So we work with providers in their capacity, and Trio has a tremendous amount of capacity. So they're able to pick up.
That's Trio. We worked with Trio in the past.
We have not. This will be their first entry into this area. But again, 125 million meals a year across the country.
Okay. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Sure. Might just add in, and we've had some discussion on this too. And Stephen he's out today, but he will be there Wednesday to present. It's a good time, and we've got a stopgap now through January, it sounds like. It might be a good time just to have Stephen kind of give this a total relook, and
I think
we'll have to recalibrate on this, and we'll present back to commission and after the first of the year. So
Usually I just walk into Tim's office and.
yeah, it's gonna get harder. So, okay, that was item F. Now we're to item G, and that is bid board. There's 5 items on bid board. 3 are lands and 2 are facilities. Item 1 on bid board is public road improvement bid for the Ridge Road 53rd Street project. And Lynn's here if there's any questions on any of these. Item 2 is doing a crossroad drainage structure under Rock Road. It's at 47 South. Yeah, 47 South. That's a bid. Item 3 is road improvement for the Hawk system signal system by, we'll call it Boeing now, right? East Spirit. And then item 4 and 5 are remodel projects. 4 is the remodel for the election office. And 5 is the remodel of phase 2 for the courthouse annex. And Tanya can address any questions there.
Questions? Good.
Okay, that moves us into consent. H and I are construction easements, no fiscal note on either one. One is for stream and both of them are kind of water maintenance, stream maintenance project on 95th Street South between 103rd and 119th West. And a bridge clean out at 231st West between 47th and 55th South. Again, no fiscal note on either of those. Item J is I might have Lynn talk about this too. It's an agreement with KDOT on a roundabout at 85th and Broadway. It is right on the precipice of Park City. I think Park City owns a piece of it. We own one wing of that, right?
Correct. I will start out with, there's no fiscal note for us. The reason why we are part of the agreement is because we do the parcel in the northwest corner of that intersection is unincorporated. And they are getting some right of way from that parcel. So standard practice, we will be included with that. We have one with Valley Center coming up. It's going to be the exact same thing.
Right.
Not fiscal note, but we're part of the contract because unincorporated land is adjacent to the project.
That's good.
Okay, item K is a little bit different. We've had a person on one of our corrections advisory boards that just wasn't showing up for meetings. I think Justin's been in contact with all of you, made multiple attempts to try to contact the person. So this is a change to essentially remove her from the board, and then we can move on with a replacement, and that'll show up under appointments at some point in the future. Item L are and a lot of these items coming up now are just end of year things that we normally do. Item L is like that. It's the community programs 2026 funding agreement that the commission approved in a budget in August. Arts Council, Sedgwick County Fair Association, Sedgwick County Historical Museum Association, and TCAM are the four items on that. It's just allocating the money to them that the commission approved during budget for their 2026 supplement. Item M through R, we have a series now of human service agreements. M is something new. Envision has obtained a license to provide some targeted case management for individuals with intellectual development disabilities. So this is a new agreement, right, Tim, with Envision. And the agreement, without the agreement, Envision could not be able to bill Medicaid. So that's why the commission has to take an action. This is any other, we just have a contract and agreement with them on services then at that point, right? Okay. So item M is new. N is our annual affiliation agreements with 19 providers for IDD services. And if you want to see the list, and if the public wants to see the list, it's on page 115 of the backup. Similarly, item O are the mill levy contract agreements with the senior services. The list for the public to take a look at there is on page 150 of the backup. There are, I think, 18 agreements with senior service funding, and it has the dollar amount and what each senior center is. And this again was all approved by the commission during budget process. Item P are the 9 aging mill levy contracts for in-home and community services. There's a list of those entities. That's on page 172 of backup if you want to see the list and the dollar amounts for each vendor. Item Q similarly is these are updates of contracts for physical disability program services. Backup material, page 191 has the list. Looks like there's 7 different services there. Item R, I'm going to let Lindsay talk about just a bit. I know she sent an email yesterday. It's year-end transfers from contingency fund centers to budgeted transfers to other fund centers. And I want her to just talk just a bit about this since it's on consent.
Hey, Lindsay.
Good morning. So this is unusual that we would have an agenda item like this, but this is an unusual year. So we are asking for you to basically delegate authority to us to do some year-end cleanup. We still have an additional payroll posting after your last meeting of the year. There's still some shopping deadlines and things. There is a choir down there singing, if anyone online can hear the random music. But we know that we will need to fill the gap for risk management. Oh, let me back up. Sorry, I lost my train of thought with the music. We will have some activity. We've extended the year-end timelines on certain things. You may have seen that email yesterday. We did have some hiccups with the financial and procurement system implementations that we're still working through. We anticipate to still be working through even into January. And so we've extended timelines to make sure that departments do still have the ability to get the things that they need to get them into 2026 before that happens. So what we're asking is for your approval for us to do a transfer of budget authority from the rainy day reserve to the budgeted transfers program in the general fund. That will then allow us to do what we call an inter-fund transfer to move cash from the general fund into the risk management fund to balance it. As you know, claims have been higher than usual this year. We also continue to see increases in our property insurance. And so we need to make sure that that fund is balanced. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is we are asking for your permission to transfer budget authority again from the operating reserve, but this would actually go to a fund center in Lynn shop. Remember, we have the 1% sales tax. Half of that must go to the sales tax road and bridge fund. When we adopted the budget for 2025, we anticipated about 2.5% increase in retail sales and use. And so far it's coming in above that at about 4%. And so, which is wonderful news. But it does mean that we will need spending authority, additional spending authority in that program to get it out of the general fund and into Lynn's fund.
Right.
So in whatever precise amount that winds up being, and Brandy's office will let us know that final week of December. And then finally, we're asking for your authority to potentially establish additional budget authority to pay any outstanding claims out of our employee health benefit fund. As you know, those have come in much higher than anticipated. There's been an article in the Wichita Business Journal recently about how that is universal across the board. So we're not alone in that, but that would allow us to make sure that we can get all of that work done in this fiscal year. So an unusual item, but an unusual year.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you. And there is an email that we could reference back to. I'll make a comment and then a question. The comment for the public's awareness is that in Commissioner Howell, 1984, 1% sales tax.
85.
1985, the community approved a 1% sales tax with the ballot language that 50% of this goes to, for the lack of better terms, road and bridge. So those sales tax dollars, that's the transfer being referenced. It's required by that ballot initiative. We're required to transfer this over to the public works. So for the public's awareness, that's what we're doing. The second question was, you talked about just the health costs and things. Do we have an estimate now, the percentage increase that we are experiencing?
Yes, and we'll be sending your monthly financial report here on the 15th, and we'll have a little bit deeper analysis on that. And so I'll also be able to summarize that for you in email. It's significant. I think it's over 10%.
Is that right?
So, and that's not just medical, but prescription. It's being driven on both fronts. Now, to be fair, part of that is because of a plan design change that we implemented this year that allowed employees to have some additional benefits based on surveys. But the larger part is the type of illnesses folks are experiencing and the types of prescriptions.
Can I ask another question? How did we consider this when we built our 2026 budget? Are we going to be looking at adjustments there? Did we take this into, I don't think any of us really projected that sort of increase.
No.
What's your thoughts on 2026 budget that we approved and how we deal with this issue?
Sure. So the 2026 budget, which you all should have just gotten a copy of the final version this week, does include a projection of a 5% increase. Now that 5% increase was over the budget for 2025. So it will not be enough, most likely. There will be some plan changes that are going to be implemented. I think you've already heard from employees about some of those. We're also increasing the cost share to employees for some of these benefit plans to try and keep it overall affordable for everyone. But there will be some plan changes. We were this week supposed to have that conversation with IMA to give you the briefing on all of that. And so I think that'll be rescheduled and we'll go in, I think, more in depth on what those plan changes would look like and then some options to consider for 2027 and beyond to try and do some cost containment strategies.
Okay. It's very complex. I appreciate it. You're on it.
Complex.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Sheena's group is doing a great job.
Okay, good to know. Appreciate that. So conversations to come.
Did y'all appreciate we had singing in the background while
I-
Lindsay was
this is
talking?
good.
It's a new
Really cool.
feature we're gonna bring to, I don't know if people can hear it online, but
Angels singing in the background while you're speaking, Lindsay. That's good. Butter her up, Commissioner. I see that.
okay. Okay, item S is one single personnel policy change. That's the county fast pass, which this is an interesting policy because the sheriff and I kind of we share this. It's a manager's policy, but the sheriff clearly is the shot caller on this thing. It's for protection over at the courthouse. I think we've got an amendment here that is satisfactory to all judges and lawyers, and I think we've got the sheriff on board too. And so that's ratification. That policy is in the backup. And Tanya, I think, has hard copies if you want to see it. So we've been working on that for a few months. Item T is what I visited with you about one-on-one this week with the compensation plan revision to widen a range in grade 76 and 7. There is no fiscal note to that. It's just some management for the future. Item U is a series of position reclasses. One in the zoo, one in human resource, one in IT and Scott Shop, a series on the seasonal mower positions in Lynn Shop, and one for the treasurer's office as well. That backup, those are listed on page 230 of the backup. If there's questions to those, and I think everybody's here if there would be any questions on any of the single items of that. And that the rest of the consent is routine. That's it.
Okay. Routine. I've learned there's nothing really
Treasurer
routine.
claim sorry, now since you've asked, treasurer claim certification, general bill check register. So every week.
Nothing is routine around here, I've learned. Very good. Any questions, Commissioner?
Thank you, Chairman. Just because of the way the calendar falls, this might be the most extreme schedule by our normal schedule. It gives us a full 3-week break until our next meeting, if you will. Is that going to work okay? Do we have really the ability to go 3 weeks before a meeting?
I think currently, yes. If something comes up, if we have an emergency, we may have to have a special meeting thrown in between now and Christmas. But generally, we always plan for, the week of Christmas is, we never have a meeting in that week. So, but you're right, just the way the calendar falls is.
I would almost rather put something on the calendar and just cancel it. In other words, say, we just might want to meet the 22nd or something. I don't even, I've not looked at the calendar, 22nd or the 3rd or something. Just to put something on the calendar, just say we can cancel it, but just in case we need it, there's a date that we could keep kind of clear and ready to go just in case we need to meet. I don't know how else to handle this, but 3 weeks is a very long time.
Tim, what do you think? Should we?
He wants one every day.
Commissioner Howe, to his point, I'm going to lean into you, Lindsay. I mean, that is a long period. There is so much that happens the last week of the year that you guys do in finance. So, I mean, do you feel that's a need? We want to make sure we're available for you.
I think that's what, and just so you know, I will be off that week. So you have as many meetings as you want. This is my first full week off in a couple of years, and I'm not coming in for you guys as much as I love you. But the item that I just talked about that's non-routine is our way of accommodating. We spent some time thinking through all of the things that could pop up in that time from the finance perspective, and got ahead of those. So we feel okay about that from the financial perspective. I think HR does the same. So I would defer to others around the.
Justin, you guys feel okay?
I always think about Wadle and planning. I'm okay now. The 24th is that's Christmas Eve is Wednesday. We could slot some time on the 23rd, just hold it, make sure that planning doesn't have anything, and Lindsay will be off. But if there's
I mean, you could even do a Zoom thing, or you could do it only takes 3 commissioners to have a quorum. As long as you don't do anything controversial. I would say if there's anything routine that needs to be knocked out, like a payroll, or whatever it would be. I don't mind necessarily having the option to say we could do some kind of business legally if we had to.
Yeah, I guess, Chairman, a thought I'd have is just, is there going to be a staff meeting on Tuesday, Tom? Is the-
No, there's none.
There's not. Okay. I was gonna say, well, even as late as Wednesday, if there's anything that commissioners, if you guys want to talk about that Wednesday too, and maybe staff could think about it in the meantime. In terms of planning and zoning cases, I know Scott just goes with whatever the calendar is. So I don't think he would have scheduled anything. So that there shouldn't be any challenges that I can see right away there, because he would have scheduled it based on the existing county commission schedule. But things can come up, and obviously we can call a special meeting if we need to.
And we need to do a 24-hour notice to the public. Is that
I mean,
our practice?
we usually try to do it as early as we can once we know there's special meetings.
Well, I'm not suggesting we have more meetings necessarily. I just worry about the 3 week. That's a very long time not to have any business taken care of.
I'll have Linda block your calendars on the 23rd for 2 hours, like 9 to 11 in the morning.
Okay.
And then we'll block all of our calendars too. And if something comes up, it'll be easy to slot in.
And I'm not suggesting this is a solution to anything either, but the city of Wichita does routine business sometimes during their staff meetings. They'll
Mhm.
call themselves to order and actually have a vote for things like consent type items that are non-controversial. They will just, get them through the board at a convenient opportunity when everyone's in the room, or at least enough to have a quorum. And I don't mind the practice necessarily, as long as we keep things non-controversial. I don't mind that type of approach to this type of problem, but I'll throw that out there. And I have one other comment, I guess, one other comment, and I'm sorry I didn't speak up earlier, but on the bid board, there's the item on the election office. Again, I support the election office. But this is nearly $1 million. And I guess I'm wondering, what are we getting for the million? What are we doing exactly for $1 million roughly?
Commissioner, we are, of course, remodeling some of the space in the area, and there's a warehouse in there. We're doing minimal remodel in the warehouse. We're putting a fence up. We're putting cameras up for security and access control on the doors. And then we are doing, I don't even know if we're doing anything in those outbuildings. That's the majority of what we're doing in that space. And then I think we have minimal signage going up. And I think our CIP on that was 1.3, so we're coming in under that CIP.
It's just per the plan that we knew we were going to spend about that, and
Yeah.
we're coming in under that.
And I'm happy to sit down and show you all we're doing in that space.
Sure.
It's high somewhere.
Are we going to reclaim some space at the Stillwell site that currently is our storage location? Are we going to reclaim some of that space, and do we have a plan going forward for the old election office at that point?
I will tell you, there is a department that has requested to use that space, and that is the sheriff's office for their property in that.
Any.
And I pretty much, because I hadn't got a request from anybody else, I told them that they would be priority number one, because I hadn't booked them.
Well, it's contiguous with their current space too.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what about the historic courthouse spaces? Are they going to, are we developing any type of plan going forward to repurpose that space?
Thought we were moving finance over, but
Nice knowing you.
The only plan I have right now for the election space would be to move Brick Shop and Mellon down, just because it makes it easier for deliveries and so forth, kind of going in and out of that space. But other than the space that they're in, right now, no.
I will tell you, we talk a lot about historic and vacating, and somehow strategically vacating that building so we can get that. We just don't need to be in that building. So we've talked about it, but we're not within a shot of.
Actually like the idea at some point, not having anything in that building.
Amen.
I think that's one of my unstated goals, but also stated here, that I think we need to try to get out of that building. We have enough other spaces. I think that's not the ideal building for a county footprint to do anything in.
So, you have 635 that's going to become open. We already have Munger, but that's been taken up by the corrections. You'll have, we have Ark Valley. So you've got the 3 buildings right in that area there. So we talked a little bit. Yeah. I think actually after first of the year, it's probably a good idea to staff this and maybe have the commission weigh in on how to move this thing forward over the next few years. And
then I think I can think of all kinds of other different types of uses of that building, that some of them are kind of jokes, but some of them are potentially serious.
Chairman Jeff Blueball chiming in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any urgency on this? Because I've got a lot of questions about it too. Is this something that we need to vote on for sure, or is it going to hold anything up?
Commissioner Blubar, are you talking about the urgency on elections?
Yes.
Yep, there is actually urgency on elections, and that's based on the timeline that they have to do the construction and getting elections into that space. I'm sorry, there is.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna, when I get back, I'm gonna need some kind of set down because I've got a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, we're absolutely happy to sit down and talk to you on that, and we can bring in the commission electioner on that as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty large spend, so I want some more details on that, please.
More than happy to do that.
Can you
include
me in that meeting?
Absolutely. The other thing I want to also mention on that, but I don't think I stated is we're also putting records management in that space. And then of course on the outbuildings, we'll have records.
Has the Secretary of State decided to support our plan at this point, or do we still have problems?
To my knowledge, everything that we have done satisfies the Secretary of State's ask as far as security, cameras, and access control.
And does this include common spaces for break rooms and bathrooms for
Correct.
employees for
That's
both
correct.
records management and election staff can share the same space?
Yes.
That's great. Thank you.
All we had.
That's it, huh? Okay. Heading to the last meeting of the year, Tim, again, congratulations, man. Last day here. We appreciate you. He said a lot, but he said more than what Tim usually says. Okay, guys, we will see you Wednesday morning. Have a great weekend.